Yo, Maisha Cheney once said that it ain't no good to live alone or die. Wait, no, that ain't what she said. I mean, she said it ain't no good to win alone or lose alone. Deep, huh? First show of Purpose. Let's get. Wait. Another episode of Purpose. Let's get it. I'm not sure if we really understand how important companionship is to us, especially when regarding our relationship to God. I really think that He wants us to understand what it means to have a person close to us to love, because it's a shadow of what it means to have Him close to us to love, or have us close to Him to love. Look with me real quick to the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 4. Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verse 7. And it says, I observe yet another example of something meaningless under the sun. This is the case of a man who is all alone, without a child or brother, yet who works hard to gain as much wealth as he can. But then he asks himself, who am I working for? Why am I giving up so much pleasure now? It is all so meaningless and depressing. So let's look at the top of that real quick. I observe yet another example of something meaningless under the sun. This is the case of a man who was all alone, without a child or a brother. Let's stop at the child part. So everybody who want kids, raise their hand. I see you all the way in the back. I see you. Put your hand down. You don't really want kids. Now, kids are a blessing. The one thing that I think is beautiful about kids is that it gives you somebody in your life that you have no excuse to not live for. Well, marriage in and of itself is, I think, something that God has designed for us to be able to have somebody to live for. Someone once asked me, did the church ostracize single people because of how they push on the idea of marriage? And I mean, granted, I think society and the church both have pressing ideas about marriage, but I believe that's because they understand the value of it. And a lot of people don't want to say this, but I'ma say it. Another reason why the church is gonna keep on pressing marriage forever is because they know that the only way that you're supposed to have sex that pleases God is if you're married to somebody. And because we don't really want to fall under that ideal, we're not really looking at marriage as the end all be all to relationships in life. But in our actuality, I mean, even if you think about the concept of kids, right? Like, if God don't want you to have sex outside of marriage, then He don't want you to have kids outside of marriage, which means that if you have kids, then you're married. That's the way He designed it. His design for marriage points to something bigger, though. I mean, look at this. He says that a man is supposed to pretty much sacrifice his life for his wife. He should be willing to die for his wife the same way that Christ gave up His life for the church. Like, dudes, you're supposed to be willing to die for your wife. Now, pay attention to that design. If the man is willing to die for his wife, then if they have kids, then the child will be the image of that wife, right? Whether it's the child will be the image of that wife. That means that the man will be willing to die for that child. And I believe in God's world, in a perfect world, That's the ideal design for marriage. You have a union where the man is willing to give up his life for that union. Oh, and let me throw this in there right quick, since we touched on sex a little bit earlier. Think about how beautiful this is, right? God wants the man to be willing to die for his wife in order to marry her, right? So ladies, if he ain't willing to die for you, and you know what I'm saying, that's supposed to be your flag right there. I don't know how you gonna try to find that out, but you know, yeah. But anyway, so that's for marriage. So imagine, and God doesn't want people to have sex before marriage, so he actually wants a man to be willing to die for you before he touches you. If he ain't willing to give up his life, then you shouldn't be willing to open your legs. Take that one into consideration. And look, and don't think about that as a condemning factor. Look at that as beauty. Like that shows how valuable your body is to him. That he doesn't want anybody being intimate with it unless they're willing to die for it. And I think any father watching this would agree, right? Like, you don't want nobody touching your daughter unless they're willing to commit to her long term. And commit to her long term in God's language means for life, unless they're willing to give their lives to her. And like me, I have a daughter, and I don't want no dude touching my daughter unless I know he willing to die for her. Matter of fact, I might want to see him die first. Like, you know, would you die? Would you die? I don't know. I don't know how they'll be together if I saw him die first, but that's how I feel. It's gonna be a hard road for my daughter. Y'all pray for her and me. So yeah. Like, but marriage is work. You know what I mean? Like when people ask me what is marriage like for me, I tell them it's like holding up a mirror consistently. Your spouse becomes a mirror. Like, you start seeing the things, you start seeing the effects of your actions, and sometimes you might start seeing some of the negative influences of your actions, but you also see the positive ones. It's a consistent mirror because you're helping shape your spouse. Your spouse is helping shape you, whether you know it or not. I really do believe this. I believe that some people aren't happy in their marriages because they don't see themselves making their spouse better. They don't see their spouse getting better. And I'm not saying that if they act up or act the fool that it's all because of you, but if you can see it, like if you can see the value of your hard work, if you can see the value of your prayer, if you can see the value of you living for God, and you see that starting to show up in your spouse, it'll make you happy to be there. It starts to bring happiness because you see that change. You see that change because of your humility. You see that change because of your forgiveness, and you see that, and that brings joy to your life. He also says 2 people are better off than one. It's obvious, right? All right, yeah. For they can help each other succeed. If one person falls, the other can reach out and help. That's one of my biggest reasons why I think that marriage is important, is because if one of us makes mistakes, then the other person can help out. And look, I always tell single people this: when you're looking for a spouse, look for the person that, when you're about to make a mistake, when you're about to do something wrong, they stop you. Look, I know that we live in the culture of don't judge me, and I'm still not completely sure what that means. Like, I do believe that nobody should be telling you that you're going to hell for what you're doing, but who wants to be with somebody who never tell them that they wrong about something? Like, who wants that? I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, you wrong about some stuff. Like, I'm wrong about some stuff too. But yeah, when me and my wife were on our journey to marriage, and granted, one of the things that Christians fight the most when they're single and they're courting is sex. Like, that's the biggest thing in front of them. That's the biggest thing that you're trying to fight off. And there were some moments where I was turning her down, and there was some moments where she was turning me down. And we used to switch off like weeks. Like this week I want it. This week she wanted it. And I know this is hard to believe, but there were moments where I had to be like, I gotta go home, man. I gotta leave, because you coming on to me right now is not making everything better. I gotta roll. And there were moments where she had to like turn me down. Oh, you be mad though. Oh, I feel like your body's gonna blow up. But you know what I'm saying? It's that taught me something about her though. That taught me that she cared more about what I cared about rather than how I'm feeling in the moment. And you want somebody to be down with your vision as a whole, not just how you feel at the moment. We change our feelings all the time, but have somebody who cares about your whole vision. And when they see you starting to make mistakes and they see you starting to fall off of the whole vision that you have for your life, your main goals in your life, your biggest dreams in your life, have the person that's gonna help you up. Don't have the person that's like, well, you know what I'm saying, I ain't perfect either, I can't judge. No, make each other better. Iron sharpens iron. One person falls, the other can reach out and help. But someone who falls alone is in real trouble. I mentioned depression earlier, and one of the first things that I do whenever I start to feel depression is I isolate myself. I want to be alone. And even if I can't be alone physically, I will take myself there mentally. I'll go be alone mentally. And then I start seeing that, dang, like I'm snapping on my wife. Dang, like, why I say that like that? You know what I mean? And it's because I've taken myself away mentally. I went to go be alone mentally, and she's in my space. You know what I mean? So I'm saying my frustrations are coming off on her. But boy, what kind of joy it is? What a joy it is to have someone who can just look at you and be like, nah, you ain't good. Something's wrong. Even when you lie and be like, nah, I'm good. Nah. Something's wrong. And you know, if you're alone, and I always tell people about this, like, don't run away from the church when you get alone. Some people stop going to church whenever they make mistakes and stuff like that. Like, no, don't be alone. I think isolation is good for moments. Like, I think that you need to have moments that you set aside on purpose for prayer. Like, you should set moments aside, even when you're married, you got kids, whatever, you still need it. I think you should set moments aside where you go look at the sunset, you know what I'm saying? Go to the beach, go look at mountains. I mean, God made all this beautiful stuff for you to look at, and it automatically gives you peace because he's such a dope artist. But yeah, so like, there should be moments for that on purpose, but let the moments be to go spend time with God. See, when you isolate yourself because of depression, more than likely, you're not going away to go spend time with God. You're just going away to go soak in your feelings. You know what I mean? And no, it's not healthy. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for the people around you. And in a marriage, you should have someone who can back you up and all that. So another thing that, you know, marriage allows is confession, right? Like, I always tell my wife, like, Adam and Eve was fully exposed. They didn't start having problems until sin came into the picture. And then when sin came into the picture, the first thing they did was cover themselves up. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we supposed to be naked. Don't take off your clothes because I said that. No, I mean, like, we're supposed to be fully exposed to each other. Like, you should have one person, at least one person, to tell everything to. There should be at least one person in your life who knows everything about you. And what freedom that brings. There's so much freedom in that. The dumbest phrase I've ever heard in my life was "take it to the grave." I hate that phrase. It's so dumb. What you mean, take it to the grave? Let me get off that. So confess. Like, I have someone that I can confess to. One of the things that the devil will try to do is try to hold your own mistakes against you. Like, so have somebody that you can confess your mistakes to, so that you don't walk around feeling guilty behind it. I promise you, the longer you keep it a secret, the guilt will never go away. And no, don't just confess it to God. Confess it to God, yes, but confess it to a person too. Remember, like I said earlier in the video, God wants you to have someone in the flesh to also feel the same affection, to also feel the same love, to also feel the same forgiveness that you will feel for him, because you can't feel him all the time. So you want a person around to do the same thing. You'll thank God for that person. So ultimately, that still brings you closer to God. So yeah, you have confession. Also, what a relationship does is it fulfills the need to feel needed. Everybody wants to feel needed. Stop lying and saying you don't want to feel needed. You want somebody to need you. Not just want you, I mean need you. My family needs me, and I know they need me. I know they need me. And that's a wonderful feeling. Sometimes it makes it hard to accomplish things because it's pressure behind it. But at the same time, it's the duty that God gave me, and I'm proud of it, and I wear it. You know what I mean? Like I don't try to hide from that. But it gives you the fulfillment of feeling needed. Like, you want to feel needed. God wants to feel needed. This is the reason why he wants your love. I'm not saying like he's begging for it, and he won't, believe me, but he'll die for it. That's deep. He wants you to need him. And in the same fashion, this is something that you inherited. You want to feel needed also. So yeah, like, have someone in your life that needs you. And someone once said that you're gonna marry the person that you minister to the most. They need you. The person that you marry needs you to minister to them. And ministering doesn't just mean straight up giving the gospel, though you should be praying, though you should be reading the Bible with them. But it also means just to simply serve. This is the one person in your life that you're going to have to serve without expecting anything in return, without getting thank yous all the time. You know what I'm saying? Look, I ain't saying that you shouldn't say thank you if you are a spouse of someone, but I'm saying that if you don't get a thank you, you still keep on serving though. There ain't no reason not to serve. No, it doesn't matter if they said thank you the last time they did it. You married them. That's what you do. That's what you do. And granted, I don't think a thank you is always needed, because some stuff they should be used to. Some stuff they should expect. Right? My pastor once said that put some expectations in your marriage. You expect them to come home at night, don't you? Right? So if you go out and you come back home, am I supposed to say thank you? Nah. Like, you supposed to do that. Anyway, he also says, likewise, two people lying close together can keep each other warm. Whew, in the winter, me and my wife didn't have central heat. We just had that little space heater. Man, that body heat was everything. That's what kept us warm. But how can one be warm alone? Look, man, you might not always be able to pay your gas bill. That's not why we didn't have it. It's because we didn't get a plumber to clean the heater, to give us central heat. But it's not the point. What if you ain't got central heat, man? You need a spouse. Blankets ain't warmer than bodies. Alright, I'm done. A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated. This is the big one right here. A person standing alone can be attacked and defeated, but two can stand back to back and conquer. See what I'm saying? Like, You don't have to fight this. You don't have to fight this fight alone. Life is a fight, man. I don't care what you believe in. I don't care what you're trying to do with your life. If you're a Christian, you know it's a fight. But if you are listening to this video and you are not a believer, I know you fighting something. You fighting, man. And if you have like real companionship, and granted, I do believe that friendships can be considered real companionship. Marriage is that ultimate commitment. That's that for life commitment. Like, that's the person that you know you're supposed to be down with forever. Is supposed to be down with you forever. And you guys can fight this life together. You don't have to fight alone no more. It says that you can stand back to back and conquer. Not only do you fight, but now you can win your fights. You know what I mean? And he breaks it all the way down and says 3 are even better. For a triple braided cord is not easily broken. God's design for marriage is always husband, wife, God. You have God at the top of that. With God is the foundation of your relationship, you make it through anything. If God is the foundation of your marriage, it's the design that he wanted it to be. And believe me, y'all will conquer. So, you know, music sometimes can capture moods that you can't capture on your own. Sometimes they say the words for you that you don't think of. So I came up with a list of love songs. You know what I'm saying? And I think these songs are actually dope enough for you to just play for your significant other, for your spouse. And also, I think these songs are good enough to be used for weddings, for you to get married to. So check it out. Case, Happily Ever After. Man, look, write these songs down, like straight up. Golden by Chrisette Michelle. Isle of You by Kristen Gray. For a minute, you know what I'm saying, when I was in high school, it used to be Sweet Lady by Tyrese, but then when I got older, I realized that that dude was talking about cheating. I was like, you know that one line about on the phone? I was like, oh, shoot, dang. Song is still kind of dope, but please don't get married to it. My mom, one of her favorites was Inseparable by Natalie Cole. Lauryn Hill has Tell Him. Lauryn Hill, Tell Him. Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. And Never Felt This Way by Alicia Keys. Butterflies by Alicia Keys. Oh, if I saw somebody get married to that. Of course, Jagged Edge, Let's Get Married. Somebody told me, look, man, they said we ain't getting no younger, we might as well do this. I don't want that at my wedding. But if y'all old, you know what I'm saying? He told the truth. Of course, All My Life by Casey and JoJo. Somebody told me a Kenny Lattimore song. I think it's called For You. I'm not sure if that's what it's called. So I saw someone do Love Is You by Chrisette Michelle. A couple of Forevers by Chrisette Michelle. At my wedding, we used All Music Soul Child. Our grandparents walked down the aisle to Don't Change by Music Soul Child. So my wife walked down the aisle to Love by Music Soul Child. And we walked out the church to Say Yes by Music Soul Child. Or is it yes? Or all you gotta do is say yes? Wait, nah, that's Floetry. It's somebody saying yes though. But yeah, it was our Music Soul Child. And after we got married, now all I do is play Half Crazy by Music Soul. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, so that was every song that was on my list. Y'all go out there and get married to it.
A revolution. It's what the whole world feels when a brain as sharp as a needle that's full of truth takes a shot in a vein that's filled with blood that hasn't been spilled for pain. And the sickness remains. The only thing that you see is what makes the world ill. And you feel shell shot like you on a battlefield full of bullets and ills. Cause they showed you a wheel of fortune, but every time you spin the wheel, it never reels in the real. It's no game show, dealing no deal no more. getting high and drunk, so it's easier to believe the lies. We sober, no more waiting for change to happen right before our eyes. It's over, it's time to revolutionize the culture, 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 the culture.